All right, today we're going to dive into a topic that is just immense in its scale and majesty, something right from the heart of Islamic tradition. We're talking about ARSH, the throne of Allah. And believe me, it's an idea that really pushes the boundaries of how we think about creation itself. So let me just start with a huge question right off the bat. When you think about everything in existence, the entire cosmos, what is the single greatest thing ever created? The answer to this really sets the stage for just how massive our topic is today. Well, according to Islamic scripture, the answer is right here. The Quran describes Allah as the Lord of the mighty throne. So the belief is that this throne, Al-Arsh, is the greatest of all created things. It's the ultimate symbol of his absolute power and authority. But before we go any further, to really get a handle on this, we've got to start with the word itself. So, what does Arsh actually mean? Let's break it down. You know, in classical Arabic, the word arsh comes from roots that mean things like elevation or construction, building something up high. And it usually translates to a raised structure or, most commonly, a throne. It's a word that's totally tied up with ideas of kingship, of power, and of sovereignty. And what's fascinating is that the Quran itself gives us this really concrete, down-to-earth example. In the story of the Queen of Sheba, her royal seat, her center of power, is called a magnificent arsh. This gives us a human-scale idea of what the word means. And this is a really crucial point. Because the word arsh is used for a human queen's throne, it tells us that it refers to a real, physical, established thing, not just some vague symbolic idea of power. It has a reality to it. So naturally, that leads us to the big question, right? If arsh means a physical throne for a human ruler, what on earth does it mean when it's applied to God? And this is where we have to make a super important distinction. A human throne, well, it's a physical seat. It's something a ruler needs, and it symbolizes a very limited kind of power. But Allah's throne is in a completely different category. We have no idea how it exists. Its reality is unknown to us. It doesn't exist because of any need. It exists to show the Creator's greatness. It's a symbol of absolute dominion over everything. So the guiding principle in Islamic theology for understanding this is pretty straightforward. It's a three-step process. First, you affirm what the revelation says. Yes, the throne exists. Second, you absolutely deny that it resembles anything created. And third, you accept that its true reality is known only to Allah, completely beyond our human imagination. To really drive home just how magnificent the throne is, the Quran gives it these incredible titles. The first one is Arsh al-Azim, which means the mighty throne. That word mighty immediately tells you we're talking about something of unimaginable scale and importance. Then there's another title, Al-Arsh al-Majid, or the glorious throne. The word Majid here carries this sense of incredible honor, dignity, and a glory that's just unparalleled. It really elevates its status even more. And finally, Allah is called Dua al-Arsh, which translates to the Lord of the throne. Now this is so important. It isn't about needing or sitting on a throne. It's about ownership. It shows his absolute sovereignty and complete dominion over this greatest of all creations. Okay, so we've talked about what it is, but where does the throne actually fit into the grand timeline of creation? When did it come into being? Well, according to the scriptures, the throne is one of the very first things ever created. It was there before the heavens, before the earth, before our entire universe as we know it even existed. This verse, wow, it just paints this incredible picture of that primordial time. It says that before the 6 days of cosmic creation began, Allah's throne was upon water. It points to a reality that existed way before our own concepts of space and time. So if we piece together the timeline from the sources, it looks something like this. First, in eternity, there was only Allah and nothing else. Then came this primordial creation, where his throne was upon water. After that, the pen was created and given the command to write down everything that would ever happen. And only after all of that did the creation of the heavens and the earth take place. All right, so let's pull all these ideas together. When you look at the whole picture, what is the throne's ultimate purpose? Its ultimate meaning. It is the supreme sign of absolute dominion. And if you're trying to get your head around the sheer scale of this, get this. A prophetic tradition describes the distance between each of the 7 heavens as being a journey of 500 years, and the throne is said to be high above all of that. We're talking about a cosmic structure of a size we literally cannot comprehend. So after creating the universe, the Quran says that Allah established himself on the throne. And again, it's so important to stress this isn't a physical act of sitting. It's understood as a statement, a declaration of his absolute command and total authority over every single thing he had just brought into being. The how of it is completely beyond us.
So when you boil it all down, the key takeaway is this: the throne is the absolute pinnacle of creation. It is a real, majestic entity, and its main purpose is to be the ultimate symbol of Allah's total and absolute dominion. It's an idea that really reinforces the Creator's infinite power and shows that he is completely separate from and not contained by his creation.
And that leaves us with one last thing to really think about. If this is the glory, the majesty, the incomprehensible scale of just one of his creations, what does that even begin to tell us about the glory of the Creator himself?